Hello and welcome to another edition of A New Life in France. It's a series that gives you a glimpse into our life on the River Lot with myself and my wife Maria, and we also do interviews every second week with expats and immigrants, or whatever it is you want to call them. And that's usually from La Lot-au-Garonne. Our house is on the River Lot, but this time, as you can see, I'm not there, I'm in St Malo. And that's because I've driven down to pick up Maddie and Luke, which are two of our children. We've got four between us, but Maddie and Luke are coming to stay for a couple of weeks, and because of the drive it's kind of thrown me out of kilt production wise. But fortunately for me, Rob from Escape to the French Charente said, I really want to do an interview with you about your life, your career in television and how you got to live in France. Now I'm being honest here, I felt that was a little self-indulgent, so I didn't really want to run it all. But given this week, it really does save me a lot of time in the edit. So, and I checked with our senior producer, my boss, Maria, who watched the interview and said, no, it should run. So we're going to run it. And so that's what you get today. So that's where we are. I'm afraid it's all about me this week, slightly reluctantly, but I hope you enjoy it.
Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
From the lot.
A rainy lot.
A very, very rainy lot.
We're sat under the awning in the southwest of France.
You are the master of interviews of expats. Now, you've been interviewed with Maria as part of your channel.
Yes.
But I personally wanted to interview you only because I think people will be really interested to know about your background. And the reason why I say that is because I get fascinated, bewildered, and sometimes annoyed when I read in your comments saying, great editing, how do you do it? And I'm thinking, right, okay. I know, Richard, that you've been editing and producing and filmmaking and documentary making and presenting TV programs from the age of 14 or 15.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is you are an industry expert when it comes to this type of stuff. But people don't know about that. People, so I think it's important and I know that you're a very humble guy and you wouldn't want to offer up that information yourself. So I'm going to use my detective skills to extract all the information that I think that people will want to know.
Now I'm really nervous.
And you should be. But there's no spotlights today. So we normally go in the police. We normally go with a fact question.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I would normally start a
Yeah.
suspect interview.
Okay. I like this.
So Richard, you have been filmmaking for a very long time. Fact.
So I started filming with Super 8 and Standard 8 films. My mum and I used to go to jumble sales and I used to collect the old cine cameras, and I started filming with the old Super 8s and Standard 8 when I was probably about 12.
Yeah.
And I used to do little animation films as well with plasticine. I had a little character called Nougrel. And then, cutting a really long story short, I went for a job interview when I was 14 and a half at ITV, Channel TV in the Channel Islands. Yeah. And obviously I shouldn't have been going for that interview at 14 and a half. But I got the job. And they wrote back to my mum and said, oh, congratulations, Richard's got the job as a technical trainee. And she went mad. So her and my careers officer got in touch with him and said, he's not old enough yet. He shouldn't have gone for that interview. And they very kindly said, well, actually, we'll hold the job until his 15th birthday. So I started on my 15th birthday in 1978.
And you've been doing that ever since?
Yes.
And so those are transferable skills that you've easily transferred onto your YouTube channel, which is why people are impressed by the professional look of it. So, rewinding back to the next part of your, so you start eventually, and what was your first project?
Oh, my first project? What in television?
Yes.
Well, I started as a technical trainee, and then I became a studio cameraman, and then I became a studio manager, and and very quickly I became you always aspired to be an exterior cameraman because there was nobody in your headphones telling you what to do.
Okay.
So as an exterior cameraman, you made your own decisions about where people sat and how you'd frame that, etc., without being told in your ears. You know, pan left a bit, pan right a bit.
Yeah.
So you knew what you were doing by the time you were an exterior cameraman. Yeah. And then very quickly, partly by accident, again another long story, too long for this, but I became the first network director of network programming for our little tiny channel, which was Channel TV. And that was really, really exciting. That was a career-changing moment. And then, again, cutting a long story very short, Channel TV, where I worked, decided that they'd rather concentrate on local news and local productions. So they were stopping their network productions. And the network productions were fantastic. They used to do things like Highway with Harry Seacombe and all that sort of thing for the network. And so I saw the writing on the wall. So I decided to leave, and I think I was 27. So I did 12 years with them. And I left in 1990 and set up with one of my best friends at the time, who also worked for ITV. He was a sales guy there, a chap called Peter Double, who I miss every day. And the two of us set up a little company called The Production Company. And we started producing TV commercials. He was into wildlife, so he'd do lots on wildlife. And that's rubbed off on me now. I love wildlife, and I can almost, sometimes when I'm filming a bird or whatever, I can almost hear him in my ear going, you know, that's nice, but make sure you get it in the right spot. You know, it's got to be where it should be. You know, a bird.
Especially your obsession with kingfishers.
Yes, yes. And so we did that, and we started filming offshore powerboat racing. Yeah. But that was around the world, and that led to us doing travel. Because I went into the boss of ITV at the time, well, he wasn't the boss of ITV, but the boss of London Weekend Television, and said, look, you know, we're doing all these glamorous, glitzy places like Saint-Tropez and Monaco and Dubai for the powerboat racing series. How would you like a little travel show on the side of it? And he said, well, let me have a look, go and make a pilot. So we did. So made a pilot, and it was me presenting it badly because it was just a pilot. And he sat and watched it. I remember we were on the top floor of the London Weekend Tower. His name was Warren Breach, actually. And he watched nearly all of it, which in those days was really unusual. Yeah. People would normally just skim through the first 2 minutes and say, yeah, no. And he looked at it and he said, no, I really like it. And so I was like, well, you know, just wondering about who we could get to present it, etc. He said, no. He said, I'm only buying this series if you present it, because I feel like I've been on holiday with a mate.
And you'd never presented it?
Not really. Before. I'd done little bits of presenting. So that was a bit of a shock. And then the next shock was when he said, we'll take 26 of them. And I was like, oh.
That's a commitment.
Yeah, but like a builder, I just said, oh, yeah, no, that's no problem. Yeah. And then I went away and went, oh, my God, how are we going to do 26 of these as well as the powerboat racing? So really, it was powerboat racing in glitzy places that started us doing travel. And I started presenting that series. It was called Stepping the World. We went on to do 78 episodes, a mixture of ITV and the Travel Channel, which was brilliant in its day, the Travel Channel. So that started us going.
So hopefully you're overlaying some stock footage now of you presenting. And how long, you said 78 episodes, and that is over how many years?
Oh gosh, well, that's a really good question. I suppose that's 13 a year. Can you do the maths on that?
Ooh. Probably. And no doubt Richard would have worked that out now and put it over the screen. So you're a proper bona fide TV presenter.
Oh, by accident now, yes. We've actually produced, can you believe, travel programming, over 800 travel programs that have gone on air in different parts of the world with different broadcasters. Wow. What we've quickly realised was that the American market was key. Yeah. And the other thing that we quickly realised was that non-presenter-led material was better. The Americans called it hostless.
Yes.
Sounds a bit weird, it's a bit like ghostless, isn't it? But so we started producing series that didn't have a presenter for the networks, and they could be dubbed, of course, into any language, because it's just voiceover and music only. And the next thing I'd see our products popping up in Japan, in China, in Germany, in Russia.
You just hit the global market.
We hit the global market, but we were always ahead of our game. Just as HD came out, we were filming HD ahead of HD coming out on television, and the same with 4K. We were really filming 4K programs about a year before they came onto television, and that was pretty much key to the success of the business. I think was always being slightly ahead of the game and filming in new formats that people were waiting for.
So on my channel, probably about 6 months ago, maybe a bit longer, I reached out to my community and I said, who's the most famous person that you've met in real life? And I had loads of comments, and people were saying that they've met this person, that they've met that person. Now I know for a fact, because you weren't allowed to contribute on that, because I know who you've met. Now I know you've met and worked with George Clooney.
Yep.
I know that.
Directed George for a sequence for a film that we made for another client called Colonial Pictures. And yeah, worked with him. That was lovely.
Also Morgan Freeman.
Yep. Proper films, by the way. They were broadcast on PBS, but they were for cinema release as well in the States.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it privately, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I know that you have one particular favourite when it comes to a celebrity, and you've worked with this person. Didn't you follow this person around for a year?
Oh no, I knew you were referring to the Queen.
Yes.
I adored the Queen. So I had a close proximity pass for a number of years, because we ended up filming royals on and off all the time, and I'd taken shots of the Queen for various companies at various times, and as I say, it was a close proximity pass. You as a policeman will know what that means. You know, you could pretty much go almost right
access all areas.
Yeah, access all areas. And then Jersey commissioned a hologram of the Queen. I can't remember exactly why they commissioned a hologram of the Queen, but anyway, one of my clients got that job to make the film of the hologram being made, and so I got chosen as the cameraman to do that because of my experience with filming royals and with my close proximity pass, etc. So I turned up at the palace, and it was slightly chaos. It was just me and my camera to keep the crew tight.
Yeah.
So it was just me, and I walked into what they call the green room, which is that lovely big room that overlooks the crowds at the palace, and it was full of boxes of what's the word I'm looking for? Flight cases and equipment and all sorts of things. And this hologram equipment was weird. There were cameras whizzing around on tracks and special types of lighting rigs. The engineer, bless him, had his head in the hands because things weren't going very well, so he wasn't saying much. And the artist was a chap called Chris Levine, who knew that things weren't going very well with the equipment, so he was a little bit nervous. So I took it upon myself, whenever possible really, to be as chatty as possible with the Queen. I could feel in the atmosphere that things weren't going very well. And then the Queen would be sat there with her crown on, and they're adjusting the lighting over her, and I'm getting shots of that, and this little machine's whizzing around. And she was fascinated by the camera that was whizzing around, actually. She was really fascinated by it. And then they'd have to stop and say, I'm sorry, we've got a problem. You know, we're going to sort it out, but let's just stop for a few minutes. But it never was a few minutes. It was quite a long time whilst they reset everything. So I went and sat down with my camera. I put it on the floor, and I sat down on some of these big flight cases. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just hang in here for a bit. And then, much to my surprise, the Queen came and sat next to me on the flight cases. And I'll never forget that. I was like, oh. And all of a sudden, you're trying to remember all the protocol, the things, the way that you should speak. But we sat, and she was so lovely. We sat, I think, probably for about 25 minutes and talked mostly about Jersey and how much she loved Jersey and the Jersey cows. We talked about all sorts of things, actually, connected with Jersey.
Does she prefer Jersey to Guernsey?
Oh, well, she would never say that.
But she winked.
The question never came up. No, I think she loved the Channel Islands dearly, but she knew that I was from Jersey. And then we got this call to say that we're ready to film again. So I said, she had to go into a little room with the mirrors to, and all the makeup, etc. at the side. And I said, can I follow you in? She said, yes, for sure. So it was just me and her in this room, and I'm filming over her shoulder as she's readjusting the crown. And there was this magical moment where I almost had to look around and see if she was talking to me, but she said, is it straight? Yes. So I could almost, my claim to fame is almost saying I helped the Queen adjust her crown.
Yes. That is a good claim to fame.
But then with Sir Trevor McDonald, we did a series again for another client. It was the same client actually, Colonial Pictures, and that involved us going to places like Perth and filming her there, her opening various different museums around the world, and that was all shot in 3D. But I could tell that she recognised me because in this big barrage of press photographers, I was always the one with a weird-looking camera.
Yeah.
And there was one occasion where she walked past us. It was in Scotland. They'd opened up a new museum, the V&A. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
It's 12 o'clock. They opened the V&A and we had this big crowd of press photographers, and I was part of that rabble. And she got out the car and she walked past us all. And she looked at me and she smiled because she recognised me. And then she carried on. And the shot was beautiful.
Yeah.
And the chap said the chap next to me, some snapper from somewhere, I don't know where he was from, said, did she just smile at you? And it looked that way, but I'm absolutely positive it's because she recognised me.
Oh, fantastic. So, really?
So that sound comes from our little town, Domplus-Salot, and it's the Siren being tested. Because France is still on high alert. It's on the highest alert possible. People don't realise that France is on its highest alert. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, no, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
It does nothing from a PTSD.
Oh, bless you. Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Confucius said once, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Now that makes me sound half intelligent. I've just had to Google it. But that's true though, isn't it? Because do you feel as though you've really worked in terms of the job that you've done?
I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life.
Well, there you go. He's proved his
love
point.
it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And that's why I'm doing what I do now. We moved here and I went on holiday with Maria to South Africa. Funnily enough, that's on our channel.
Yeah.
And I filmed some of that just for fun, mostly for the children, mostly for our kids, And it was only when I got back I thought I'll just put them on YouTube. And bizarrely, hardly anybody's watched them. There's one programme there with like 220 views. Spin back and watch our South Africa series.
It's worth it. I enjoyed it. We watched it again last night.
They're only 5 minutes long each. And it was at that point that I realised that Maria was really funny on camera.
Yeah.
We were doing a wine tasting thing and she said, this tastes like medicine. And I'm like, oh no. And I thought, well, do you know what? We could do something here in France together.
Yeah.
And a bit like you, it gives me a bit of freedom it's enjoyment really, bit of filming, go and sit down. I love editing. People always says editing's the biggest pain.
I love it.
I love it. And yeah, I'm fast at editing, so I'm very lucky that I can put things together quite quickly. But normally my edit day is a Saturday and it'll take me 3 or 4 hours to edit whatever we're doing. But we started doing this series on YouTube and it was just for fun. And each programme was 5 minutes long, and then people kept writing in saying,
I was one of them.
We're loving our Sundays, please make them longer. And so Maria and I sat down, I think we sat on the chairs behind me here and said, do you want them longer? And everyone said yes. And so we settled on 15 minutes.
So the format to your videos, your episode is you will do an episode where it's a week in the life of Maria and yourself.
Yes.
And then you will sit down with an expat immigrant.
Yes.
Whatever they're called, whatever we are called.
Yes.
And you will ask them about their journey.
Yes.
And the reasons why moving to France. And I particularly like the break.
Yes.
In style for that.
Yes.
And I think it's working for your channel.
I'll be completely honest, it's really easy for me to do an interview with someone and edit it. So it's like a week off, if you like.
Okay.
Because I can edit those interviews in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because you're not finding little shots of this, little shots of that, a bit of music, making it look nice, me having to think about doing a bit of voiceover.
Yeah.
It is just a couple of people chatting, and it is a chat, 2 or 3 of us, sometimes 4 of us just chatting.
And Final Cut Pro makes it really easy to do that as well.
Oh yeah, they're called angles. You just line them all up, and then it's almost like switching live. Dink, 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 dink.
Yeah.
It's lovely. So for me, that format works really, really well. So this will be one of those.
Yes.
Because it's a sit-down chat, if you like. So this will be in an interview week, which is a bit bizarre because it's me again. But anyway.
This is a genuine question for me, only because I know it's caused an issue with freeform productions when it comes to A Place in the Sun, and the presenters, and the usage of presenters, and the usage of camera people, and sound people, and lighting people, etc., etc. Once Brexit hit and the 90-day came in, presenters were becoming unemployed once they'd run out of their 90 days. So how would you, in your previous life, navigated round travelling the world up against the clock and having to come back for a period of time?
Do you know, it's never, ever occurred to me. I think we were lucky because we were always doing different countries. So we'd spend most of our time, you had to plan, because you could be filming in Asia one minute and you could be filming in the South America or America the next. So suddenly you're going the full length of the world from one side to the other. So we always planned our trips quite carefully, that we were always in Asia doing something on that side of the world, and then always in North America or South America or that side.
And that doesn't count because it's outside the EU. Yeah.
So I think we had enough to be doing, because we were doing a global series.
Well, was it at the back of your head?
Never.
Yeah. I suppose if you did more EU filming, it would be an issue.
Yes, but also, to be honest, we had 2 or 3 crews as well.
Yeah.
So, and I tended to do most of the far-flung stuff.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful presenter, Gillian Martindale, who preferred to do closer to home, preferred to do Europe, etc. And so we never really had that problem. But yes, it will have been looked into.
Yeah.
But it never really crossed my mind to worry about it, because the world is so big. It's not just Europe.
Yeah,
So,
I just remember, because A Place in the Sun is Europe-centric, really.
Yes.
It does the occasional Barbados and stuff like that, Bahamas, but it's really Europe. And I just remember speaking to one of the assistant producers saying, "Oh, yeah, that's it. After this one," he goes, "I've got to go and find other work now."
Because he's run out of his 90 days.
Because he's run out of his 90 days.
The other thing that's strange...
Because everyone's freelance, aren't they?
Yes, well, yeah. And where we work, we were a set-up company, and we employed everyone. We always used the same crew, but some of that crew were freelance quite often. But one thing that is interesting, and it confuses a lot of my friends, is I have 2 passports.
Go ahead.
Because you'd have one passport in your hand to travel, whilst the other passport might be in the Indian embassy having a visa put in it, and that could take weeks, which would mean that you can't travel.
Oh.
So I've got dispensation to have 2 passports.
And yes, what type of occupations could get that dispensation?
Exactly that, people that travel substantially.
Okay. And you'd have to prove to people...
Yes. So
to our passport office, right?
Yes.
Can I have 2, please?
Yes. No. And it's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
And it comes with a letter saying that you must never ever travel with both passports at the same time.
Okay.
And in some countries that's a prison sentence. So, for instance, if I popped out in Thailand and had both my passports, and someone saw that, I'd be put in jail for that.
Oh wow!
So you've got to be careful. But it's a bit strange having 2 passports. So the other thing that I used to do, which was quite interesting, is I'd have a passport which I'd call my American passport. So whenever I went to the States, I'd make sure that I used that one.
Yeah.
And the other passport could have places that the States don't like you going in.
Okay, yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
various countries there that they don't, but also
Like North Korea.
yes, you know, even Egypt and places
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So, and the other thing is, of course, that they get used to scanning your passport and seeing your passport, and so all of a sudden, if you pop up with a different passport,
Yeah.
and then you go away again, you come back with the previous passport, the alarm bells start ringing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though it's allowed, it's legal, alarm bells start going. So I always used to make sure to use the same passport as often as possible, going into the same country.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was
I didn't even know that was a thing.
no, not hardly anybody does until you're there doing it.
So, final question for you, Richard. Where do you see this channel going in the future? What does it look like in 5 years' time?
Well, who knows where we'll be in 5 years' time?
True.
You know, I mean, we love it, but I do love an adventure, and I've really, really loved doing this, what we've done here. Maria's found her escape, if you like, because we've obviously both retired by accident. And I'll just mention that, actually, we're here because COVID stopped me making my travel programs.
Yeah.
And every 6 months I thought, oh, the world's going to open up again, we can travel again. No, it didn't. And then another 6 months. And then Maria said, look, you know, why don't we stop? And I was like, what? And she said, well, just before COVID, I did 16 long-haul flights in 1 year. I did a lovely series with effectively the Willy Wonka of designing hotels, if you like. And I did a lovely series with him just before COVID. But it was only once we stopped, Maria said, actually, you know, I'm chilled anyway. But she said, oh my God, you're even more chilled.
Yeah.
Let's stop. And we did the maths and we worked out that we could sell up where we lived in Jersey and buy a house and be mortgage free here, because the mortgage in Jersey was big, and it meant that I had to continue working until whenever, you know, to pay that mortgage off, probably until I was 65, 66. And so COVID changed our lives by coming here, but I think we were here for about a year and a half before I got itchy feet and started making these YouTube videos. And then Maria was like, the honeymoon period of friends coming to stay with us was over. Everybody had come and stay and they loved it, and we were doing the rooms, and then all of a sudden Maria said, look, these 2 rooms are empty all the time now, or pretty much all the time. Obviously when we have friends we close them, but I want to do Airbnb or bed and breakfast. And I was like, what? And so she's done that now and she loves it, absolutely loves it, and we both enjoy it. Most of the guests that come are actually from the channel, which is really, really nice. And they walk in and they go, hi, and we feel like we know you already, and we're like, yes, okay. But they also walk in and point at the dog and say, oh look, there's Elby. And look at the view. And they think it's weird when they first arrive because the view's real.
Yeah, it is real.
And everything about the house is real. You know, I need to mow the lawn more, etc., etc., etc. I clean the pool every day, just about, and they see me pottering around doing that, and it's just like you do on YouTube. And it's really funny.
Yeah.
Because that is really what we do, you know.
YouTube is a strange phenomenon where you can actually reach out to people that you enjoy watching.
Yeah.
And have a closer relationship with them through comments and liking and the interaction of. That's what I love about our 2 channels.
But answering your question, where will this go? I don't know, because I've really loved. I've never moved out. I've always lived in Jersey. Never moved out of that island. I mean, I've travelled a lot, many times around the world, but I've never moved somewhere and lived. And I love it here. I mean, I really, really love it here.
I know.
I mean, you know, we've got the river there. I'm an ocean person, really. You know, I love the sea, and so I've converted now to a river, if you like. But 5 years is a long time. Could I start a new adventure? Could we move somewhere else?
True.
You know, I don't know. But this channel, as long as we're here, will continue doing what we're doing. But who knows?
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
So thank you for your time, Richard. I appreciate you answering so candidly. So I suppose that's it. That's your lot.
From the lot.
Until next time.
Goodbye. You did that brilliantly, by the way.
Thank you.